Let's play a game. I want you to imagine for a second what you think it would feel like to be in a room full of former Miss Americas. Now I want you to imagine what would it feel like to be in a room full of former Miss USAs. Finally, I want you just to vividly imagine, see what you would see, feel what you would feel, hear what you would hear if you were in a buzzing room full of former Miss Universe, not only contestants, but winners. Would it feel electric? Would it feel dull? Would it feel positive and uplifting? Would it feel catty and gossipy? Isn't it interesting how just by giving you a few qualifiers of who is in the room, how your brain immediately imagines and fills in the gaps of what you think the room might feel like? Now, let's change this a little bit. Well, what if I were to tell you that this was the former Miss USAs that were all Christians, or the group of former USAs that were all moms? Or what if this was the group of former Miss USAs that were all minorities? Or what if it was a group of Miss USAs that were all under 5'5"? Or what if it was a group of former Miss USAs that were 20 years ago or more? What if it was a group of former Miss USAs that were the last 5, including our current one, Miss Audrey, who I just hung out with last night? Does this change anything in your brain? Isn't it interesting how when we add these little qualifiers that it attunes us to how we perceive that room would feel? Because what's crazy is we are actually so much more led by our emotional state than we ever give ourselves credit for. And when you say these words that give you just a little taste of who might be in the room, your brain immediately knows and your emotions immediately know like what to do and where to go of how you expect to feel and what you expect to have in that room. Now, the last question that I have for you is, if you were in any of these rooms, so former Miss Americas, former Miss USAs, or you could say Mrs. Americas or Miss Universes, if you were to ask 5 questions, what would you ask? And if you were just to be a fly on the wall, or you had an invisibility cloak, and you were just to buzz around the room, what do you think that you would learn? Now, this is astronomically important. If you want to pause and think about that, you can. But most of you would say that you would learn something valuable. Most of you would say that you would learn how to dress well, how to do your hair and makeup well. And most of you would say that you think the room would overall be a pretty positive and encouraging place. Women would probably be catching up on their careers. They'd probably be saying, oh my gosh, I haven't seen you in forever. How's your baby? How's your husband? Or maybe they saw on social media that individual had been through something really difficult. And maybe it's, them connecting vulnerably. But one thing, and this, I'm a little nostalgic because last night I was hanging out with about 15 former Miss Nebraska USAs at Audrey's homecoming as we were welcoming in our new Miss Nebraska USA sister, Sammy Washington, who's taking over for Audrey. And it was a big 3-hour powwow. It was super, super fun and just such a joy. You guys will see that on the Powerhouse Instagram soon. But, one thing that I knew that I would see there was I knew that we would talk about the past a little bit, right? But mostly we would talk about where we're headed in the future. And it was so beautiful, even just last night, we have Sarah Summers, former Miss USA there, who's just a doll. And I've actually known her since I was, 16 years old. Actually, earlier than that. I want to say I was 14 years old. And, all these different individuals, we have mothers, we have grandmothers, we have our directors, right? And so it's so interesting how your brain naturally future paces the emotion that you'll feel when you're in that room. And if I'm being completely honest, I made a post about this morning. I had a little bit of anxiety even within me because I was comparing myself. I had a little bit of imposter syndrome saying, oh my gosh, we're going to have the winner from last year who's like a supermodel and always in this star-studded gown and professional hair and makeup done and all these different things. And here am I, a year postpartum, walking into the room, figuring out how I'm going to have time to curl my hair with a toddler pulling on me 24/7 and what am I going to wear, and all these different things. And so even my brain was future pacing. What are the emotions that I think I'm going to feel when I'm there? But let me tell you something a little bit different. about a room that changed my life. Now, last night was amazing and it far exceeded my expectations. So just a couple months ago, I was in California, sunny California, at the end of summer, and I finally got to meet my mentor from a distance. She's a very large celebrity and coaches literally tens of thousands of women in business. But I went to her first ever event, and there was 300 women in the room, 300 people in the room, some men. My husband was one of them. And I remember when she walked out for the first time, how excited I was because of how much she had poured into my life through her courses and through all the things that I've learned from her. And so I remember even as I bought the ticket, right, my brain was future pacing how I thought I was going to feel. And the other like-minded people that I might be able to meet in a place where I am buying a ticket for a very specific outcome, for a very specific result, right? And my mind just, I found myself dreaming, a little bit nervous, obviously, because I had not been to an event since before I gave birth. So about a year and a half ago, I've been out of, not out of the game, but out of the event game. I used to go to events all the time. And now I'd been a little bit, right? So like a tiny, tiny part of me was like, oh, thank God I have my husband and thank God I have Kendra, because I'm socially awkward sometimes and like don't know how to talk about the weather and have small talk. I just like dive right in. And so sometimes it gives me like a little bit of social anxiety, and it's why like this little voice even on the inside of me was like, don't go to Audrey's thing, just stay at home. Even though it's Audrey, and even though it's like, Miss Nebraska people who love me and who I love and who we don't get to connect very often in person, right? And it was like 10 minutes from my house, so I literally had no excuse, right? And so even though I was so excited to celebrate Audrey, and I knew it was going to be such an amazing night, I still had a little bit of that apprehension, even though I'm a very, very confident person, right? So fast forward back to California, and I find myself having two kind of split emotions as I'm purchasing the ticket, right? And it wasn't really about the ticket price. Some people are more logistical than others, and some people are more of like a fire ready aim kind of person, which I am, right? I'm like, I'll figure out the flights, I'll figure out, buy it on points, like I'll work hard or like whatever it takes, right? If that ever is an issue. And I'll figure out the logistics after. But I really want you guys to lock in on this, that when you make decisions, okay, like your brain immediately goes to the outcome that is either a good outcome or a bad outcome. And this is why mindset is so incredibly important, because even if your mindset's in a bad place, you could actually miss a God thing and a really, really beautiful, wonderful thing that God has for you in the room that God has actually called you to be in. And I don't believe that you're even listening to this by accident. And I'm going to tell you the end of the story because it's so amazing. But I think about that, a little bit of fear where I was like, if I would have gotten caught up in just the logistics or the finances or the how are we going to make this work, and I let that pattern live rent-free rather than a different pattern of I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to take 100% responsibility. I'm going to have a can-do attitude. And I've decided that this is the outcome that I want. And so I'm going to reverse engineer from having that outcome of I'm going to this conference rather than building from, well, I don't see how I'm going to make this happen, so maybe I shouldn't purchase it. Because then you're carrying out a fear pattern and you're allowing fear to live an existence way larger than faith, ultimately. And they're just two different patterns. You know what I mean? They're really the same mechanism used in two different ways. And so as I'm sitting here making this decision, right, like a little part of my brain is like, well, what if you don't connect with anybody? And what if you don't get anything out of this? And what if it's just a terrible event? I mean, it's only one day, and I'd never been to a one-day event before. And I was like, well, what if you get nothing out of it? Or what if, all the what ifs, right? And on top of that, I have like a little bit of flight anxiety that I'm like getting over. And so I hadn't flown in a while, I have to leave my baby at home, all the logistics, right? So there's always a million reasons to not do something. And then there's always a million and one reasons, I should say, to do something. And it's a matter of you learning how to make decisions that help with the future and the outcomes that you not only want, but that you've made a decision that you will have no matter what. And that it goes from just a want to a must. And then from there, it doesn't just become a must, it becomes an I must. And I really want you guys to visualize that even as I'm talking about it, right? Like, do you see these two paths in front of you? You see either the path where you're making a decision based on the circumstances and the feelings that you have right now, and that can go down a very negative fear-based path. Or you can make a decision based on the outcome that you want, visualize the outcome positively, and say, I'm going to figure out the steps how to get back to where I am now. And then every single decision that I make is changing the future rather than future pacing fear and wondering what's going to happen. No, I'm saying I've locked in on this outcome and I've chosen that I must have this outcome and that I must be the one that changes this. And I reverse engineer from what I want and I must have. And then every single day I'm making micro adjustments and micro commitments and micro decisions, okay? And because I have absolutely chosen that I'm making this thing happen, then every single thing that I try, I'm incredibly resolved and I'm incredibly flexible. And this is where the power lies, because then it literally doesn't matter how many times you fail. You're not even focusing on it because you have made a decision that you are getting this outcome. Okay. So I had made a decision, like I'm coming to this event, come hell or high water, right? I had church things to think about. Okay. Am I serving on worship team this weekend? Okay. I got to find safe childcare for my child. And then there's the logistics of that. And I got to pack my child. And then I got to tell my team, am I bringing my team? The expense of bringing my team, am I bringing my husband? Is he going to take where? Like there's all these things, right? So, but I made a decision. I was like, I'm going to choose to future pace how amazing this is going to be because I'm going to make it amazing, right? Because I can create the future that I want. And I'm so excited. I'm so excited. So then I just start dreaming about all the cool things that could happen when I get there. Okay. And so anyways, we get there, we're in this beautiful hotel. I get there. Also a week before, my husband ends up getting asked to speak in San Diego. We were in Orange County. So we ended up having to change his flights the week before because he gets asked to speak at this major Christian business leaders conference, which was like totally an open, like random, amazing open door from God. And so Landon went 2 days earlier, which was more logistics, right? And could have been more reason to be like, oh, we'll see, like we're not supposed to go. And that is like a mindset that just pains me so bad. Because no, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't go. It means you need to like be flexible and try some more things. Like it doesn't mean anything. Like it means that you've become way too soft in your ability to make decisions and to decide on outcomes. And you're just allowing little tiny foxes to steal the whole thing. Okay. You're just allowing any little tiny little thing to be a reason or a sign as to why something, can or can't do something. And that's handing over your happiness. That's handing over the reins to your life. And that's ridiculous, okay? And also puts you in a victim mentality. And if you're a victim, then you're never going to be a victor. So choose one. You can't have both. Okay, so Landon ended up going like a day or two early to speak at this thing, okay? And he's got to figure out his own logistics because he's got to get back to Orange County and we don't have a rental car and whatever. So Kendra and I go out the next day. Oh, and then on top of that, Kendra and I weren't even on the same outbound flight. We thought we were on the same outbound flight and then we weren't. So we had to meet up in Orange County. So I was completely solo traveling. And like I said, I have a little bit of flight anxiety too. So that was interesting. So I'm without my husband, I'm without my baby, I'm without my business partner. And so we're flying there and I Uber to the place and whatever. And then I ended up having like 3 or 4 hours to myself just to hang out by the pool and the ocean and read a book. I got like some appetizers, some guac and a margarita by the pool. And it ended up just being the most wonderful, like relaxing time. I should share a picture on Powerhouse about it. And, like a happy accident. It was so beautiful. And then Kendra got there eventually later. And then my husband rolled in at like 1 a.m. because they literally drove from San Diego after the event got over. And my mentor's event started at 8 a.m. bright and early the next day. And so long story short, it was one of the best put on events I've ever seen in my life. There was gorgeous, vibes and wonderful people. I learned a lot. I was inspired. And my mentor is just so amazing. I mean, she literally made like $400,000 from stage and didn't even pitch anything. Like it was just like living in the Matrix. It was crazy. There was amazing food. But here's what I want to be like the biggest takeaway from this today, even more than the whole outcome thing that we just described, which is like life-changing for you. So please apply it because you're welcome in advance. It will change your life. But here's the other thing. I noticed, so I had been in about a 9-month season of transition. And now they say like it takes 9 months to build a baby and it takes 9 months to like, kind of get used to motherhood. And even after that, I would say, because Willow's almost 18 months now, like I had another 9 months after that of feeling like I was in a transition season. Not necessarily stuck, but just like buffering. So I was being faithful. I was doing what God called me to do. I was being as obedient as I knew how to be. There wasn't anything that I was like disobedient in what God told me to do, but I still felt like I didn't have total mental clarity. And I knew that I was just missing something, like that, just like things were still a little foggy. Like, again, I was being faithful. Kendra and I were just like executing on what we knew how. The company's, doing well. Like, nothing is quote unquote wrong, but I knew it could be better. And I knew that God was like about to give me something new. And here's the thing, friends, like an identity shift takes as long as it takes. Transition takes as long as it takes. Now, there are definitely things that we can do to delay transition. And you want to know what that is? It's doing nothing. It's staying in what's comfortable. Because the way that transition works is you have two chairs and they're farther than an arm's distance apart. And to reach the next chair, which is phase 3, and to get fully out of phase 1, phase 2 is the messy middle. To fully get into phase 3, you have to let go of the first chair, even though you don't know where the third chair is, right? And so, or the second chair, you guys see what I'm saying, right? So you have to let go of one and have faith and kind of be in this ambient, messy middle where you don't know. It's like hazy what the future looks like. And you have to just keep taking action, even though you don't know everything that's going to happen. And this is so important because letting go of control is something so beautiful. Learning how to surrender to whatever the future holds, because you know who holds your future, like as lame as that sounds, is the fastest way to get into transition. And so I knew that God called me to go to this event, and it was crazy. Like, I wouldn't even say there was necessarily like a moment that was like, I got what I needed out of this, but it was getting out of, my environment. It was getting out of Nebraska, and it was getting around the energy, like literally energetics. We had some really good conversations too with just the way that the event was facilitated. And I'm taking a lot of what I learned into my event too, which I'll talk about in a second. But I remember, like, again, it wasn't necessarily like one moment or one conversation. It was like 1,000 little things. But one of my biggest takeaways was like getting to talk to my people, like getting around people that had the same challenges as me. There was a bunch of working moms there, right? Like, there was a bunch of people that were building big businesses and wanting to build big families and keeping family and faith first. There's a bunch of Christians there. There's a bunch of just wonderful people there that, even though I didn't get to talk to my mentor face to face because she's, on the stage and it's a very large event, which I will get to soon though, because your gift makes a place for you. And I'll kind of end with that, I guess, which is just the end. Such a cool story, right? But I went humbly. I mean, nobody knows who I am. Nobody needs to know who I am. I didn't come in thinking I was anything. I was like the poorest person there, which is the rooms I like to be in. And there's a bunch of people making, 7, 8, 9 figures who are moms who are working less than 20 hours a week. And those are the rooms I want to be in, right? And just serving tens of thousands of people, like really, really well. And so I remember on the, like, I don't know if it was the flight home or like our next weekly meeting with Kendra and I. I either looked at her or Landon. I think Kendra came over and we were going to like debrief. And I looked at them and I was like, I'm out of transition. Like, I'm out of it. I'm out of that season. I've got 100% clarity on what we're doing. Like, I'm ready to rock. Let's go. And it's so cool because I found like, it was like this new fire was lit under my butt. The same fire that I had, the first 7 years of my business, 8 years of my business. And not that I like haven't had the last couple of years. It's just, I hope you can understand, like, just when you are in a season of change, you have to change with it, or else actually the 1.0 version of something will die because you were disobedient to how the thing was supposed to change. In the same way that myself as a married person, and even the language that I use now, if you guys go back and listen to the first episodes of the podcast, which like makes me want to cringe, but so many of you guys do, I was single. I was in an abusive relationship, believe it or not, when I started the Powerhouse podcast. Like, my ex-boyfriend, the narcissist, helped me start this podcast and like design my first logo, made my first website, right? So my language, my identity, like who I am as a person, you would hope that things would be totally different with the identity that I'm walking in now, right? I have different language than before I was a mother, right? Before I was married. So you want things to grow and morph and change. And It takes courage to do that. And really the only difference between courage and fear is, you're really never going to be like completely fearless about anything unless you just stay in your comfort zone your whole life. So the difference between courage and fear is, with courage, you feel the fear, but you do it anyway. With fear, you feel the fear and then you listen to it and you let it become your master. And then you do nothing because you stay in your comfort zone. And you allow the circumstances and the fears of today to dictate the actions that you take, which then dictates the future that you have. And so courageous people are those who take that fear and they say, I'm not going to come into agreement with that. I'm not going to partner with that. What is the outcome that I want? And now I'm going to take steps anyway, reverse engineering it from what I want and what I must have and what I must change because I believe that I can do it, right? And then when we partner with heaven on top of that, like it's just even more powerful, right? So to end this really cool story, I was actually just texting today my amazing mentor, again, who's doing almost $1 million a month. She is a single mom, works 2 days a week. She's amazing, changing lives every day. She's like who I want to be when I grow up. Her team reached out to me and wants me to fly to California to now give an interview with the founder, like with my mentor, like this celebrity, of how much her stuff has changed my life and how our business has grown because of it and how we've helped like thousands of you guys because of how we shifted the business and how we've listened to the Lord. And if you're wondering what all this is, we just got through our big Black Friday sales. So congrats to so many of you guys who bought our 25 courses for $47. And we decided to extend it because it's such a good deal. Like I just want to keep this in the marketplace. I want to change pageantry. I want to make the best training in the world available to you guys. And then for the best of the best who really, really want to work with us one-on-one to give you guys the best, really 5-on-1, pageant academy in the world. But I want you guys to have so many wins with, again, 25 courses, $1.88 each. Like it's crazy. So many of you guys took advantage of that. And a lot of that is modeling actually after my, mentor, and she has low ticket courses and things like that. And she just inspired me so much because then, just like the podcast, like I can be everywhere for everyone. You guys don't have to wait to hop on a call with my team. Like I just put my best stuff in courses. And as long as you can open our app on your phone, when you buy our stuff, then great, learn from me, go win your pageant, and let's move on and talk about other things, that we can help you with as well. And so I just feel like that fire came back. And I knew when it happened, and it was all because I got in the room that God wanted me to be in. And I have countless examples of this that just kind of in closing, I want to tell you guys this. So one that comes to mind is Gabriella Swift, the current Miss Nebraska's teen, and she'll be at our event this year. You guys, she had never competed in a pageant her entire life and went from, she called me, I think right after Miss Nebraska's teen. It was like days after last year. And Rachel had just given up her crown as Miss Nebraska, who's also one of our clients. And Gabby was like, hey, I think I want to do a pageant. And Gabby was very tomboy growing up. And I'll post a picture of this on Powerhouse. I have it queued and ready to go. But I have a picture of Gabby and I when I was Miss Nebraska, when she was 7. And then I have a picture the year after I was Miss Nebraska when she was 8 and then 9. She's like my little sister. And so to see things full circle 10 years later with no pageant experience, she always just kind of went to the pageant because it's the thing that you did, in the small town. And anyways, it was so beautiful. She just said, I want to do this. And here's her process. This is why I proved to you guys it does not have to take 10 years to win your pageant. Like, please don't. Please don't put your life on hold that long. Like, God has other things for you to accomplish. That's ridiculous. Okay, pageants are important and they take a lot of hard work, but they don't need to take a decade of your life. That's ridiculous. So for one pageant, you can win a bunch of pageants over a decade. Let me be clear. So with Gabby, here's her process, and watch how she followed out the exact process that I just told you guys. She called me and she texted me. She said, hey, I want to be Miss Nebraska's teen. What did she have? She had a very, very, very clear outcome. She didn't text me and say, hey, I'm like kind of thinking about like maybe doing a pageant. Like, what do you think I should do? No, she did her own research because you have Google, okay? And it's not that having a question about a pageant is bad, but she had a defined outcome. And then the second thing is I was like, okay, great. What's your goal? And she's like, I'm going to win. I want to win. I said, okay, then you need to understand what you're asking for, because this is not easy. Like, it's not a walk in the park just to win on your first try, okay? There's many people who try and get first runner up 1 million times, right? Or don't even place. So what makes you think you can do this? And she's like, I want this more than anything, and I'm willing to do whatever it takes to get there. And I said, okay, I'll be your coach. And so we worked together. She joined our academy. And let me tell you, this girl was ruthless. There is no one. So when you join our academy, you have a private Slack channel where you can message all of your coaches and tag them whenever you want. And you get like ready time feedback in 24 to 48 hours, oftentimes less. And when I say this girl posted every day, like, I'm not kidding you. One day we got 45 different walking videos from her going to the gym, and she's 17 years old. Okay. So when you decide that you want an outcome and you work backwards, again, I must have this outcome. I must be the one to change it. And then you believe I can have this outcome. Like, those three things will change your life. And so it is so, so, so important. Gabby attached herself to a horse that knew how to win. And then Gabby decided that she was a horse that wanted to win. And it was so cool. So we did Pageant Academy, and then she came to Mastermind last year, met her best friend Kira, who was competing for Miss Idaho's teen. They showed up in the same outfit. Maybe you've heard the story. And I was planning on like connecting them, and they show up in the same outfit. Kira came to Mastermind, and everything clicked for them. They felt the energy of the room. They were, for them, they were like 80% there. And it was so cool. Again, getting in the right room. They believed, I'm not kidding you. I think I still even have text. So Kira and Gabby, they're going to be on the podcast soon because they both ended up winning. Spoiler alert. And I remember them both saying, like, this weekend is going to change something for us. And then after, with each other, again, they had no idea who each other were before they came. But once they were connected, they held each other accountable every single day until state. I forget if they went to each other's state pageants. Them and then another client of ours in Virginia. Shout out, you know who you are. And they all became best friends. And they held each other super, 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 super accountable, like crazy, like crackhead crazy, okay? And it was amazing because I was so relaxed when those girls were competing for teen, I can tell you, because there's a light switch that goes on. When someone is willing to do whatever it takes, specifically by putting themselves in a room of mastery, in a room of greatness, a defined outcome. They're like, I don't care what it's going to take. I am moving every mountain that gets in my way because I have decided that I want this thing, even if it's inconvenient, even when it's inconvenient, because it will be inconvenient. I'm going to be flexible. I'm going to be adaptable. I don't have this number in my mind of how many tries I think it's going to take. I've completely detached from the outcome in terms of my whole world isn't going to shatter if I don't have this, but I'm going to give this everything that I have. I'm going to move everything out of my way until I get this thing, as if I already have it, right? And so I saw that light switch go on, and I worked with Kira for 2 years. I saw this light switch go on in both of them. And I was so relaxed the day they were competing. I was like, just text me when you win. Pretty much. I was just like, just text me when you win. And lo and behold, they both ended up winning. They got to go to Miss America's teen together. And they're literally inseparable, like to this day. And so this is the power of associating yourself. This is the power of by the way, the word association means associating yourself, getting into the state, okay, the emotional state with the thing that you want. So there's a difference between just thinking about something or saying that you like know about something. Oh, I think I like in general know what I should do. Okay, but have you associated yourself with doing what it takes and locking into such a level that, again, I'm like a bulldozer moving anything in my path to create the straightest path to me getting what I want. And so with that being said, I'm so excited to announce that tickets for Mastermind are officially open, the Powerhouse Mastermind 2026. And I'm so excited. I want you guys to just so associate yourselves with the emotions that you're going to feel, that after this, and I highly encourage you, if you're listening on Spotify or Apple, to pop over to YouTube and watch this so you guys can visually see this. I'm going to be posting little clips on Instagram the next couple days, but we're only opening pre-sales for 48 hours right now. We're opening it earlier than we ever have before because we are taking it up a notch, several notches. It's going to be at a beautiful luxury hotel here in Omaha, downtown, just a few minutes from the airport. And I am on an absolute mission to transform the people that are here. We have 30 VIP spots. If you don't know what the Powerhouse Mastermind is, it is a transformative event where basically you put yourself in such a room of greatness that you can't possibly lose. Now, obviously, pageants are subjective. I'm not making any claims that you're going to win your pageant. But just to give you some feedback as to like my standards for this. So like our walking coach for the last 3 years has been Audrey Eckert, Miss USA, who now they like has coined her own walk for the entire world. Okay. She's coached at Mastermind 3 different times. Okay. We have former speakers, Camille Schreier, Miss America 2020. We have Maddie Marsh, Miss America 2020. She's 2024, 2023. I think 2024, right? We have some celebrity speakers coming this year that I am finalizing details and contracts with, so I cannot share yet. We have sponsors at a whole new level. We have food at a whole new level, food and beverage. We've added a whole VIP day on the first day where you'll only the VIP tickets this year will get to go through the mock pageant that we're limiting at 30 tickets. So we will have a brunch and learn in the morning. You'll get first priority access to ask our coaches and our speakers a Q&A. And then we'll do the full mock pageant in the afternoon. And then in the dinner time, we're going to do a super, super bougie luxury dinner in the restaurant in the hotel. It is like super bougie. Wear a cocktail dress, looking fab, put your eyelashes on. It's going to be amazing. And then again, you'll get to converse with myself, with all of our coaches. We want to honor you, give you a beautiful, expensive, nice dinner. And just like, again, ask all the questions that you have had burning in your brain, and also go over your scores, go over your feedback, like already make those real-time adjustments with somebody that is the expert, right? So if you put yourself in a room of people that are okay, you're going to be okay. If you sharpen yourself against things that are good, you're going to maybe be good. Okay, if you're going to sharpen yourself against things that are kind of great, you're going to be kind of great, but maybe inconsistent. And if you put yourself around somebody that has mastered something at a level and gotten the results that you want to get, then you can borrow their outcomes and ask them everything of how to get those outcomes too, right? So this event is for people who are hungry. This event is for women who are done settling. This event is for women who want to be the sharpest, most ambitious, hottest, healthiest, wealthiest version of yourselves, and to really figure out the adjustments that you need to make, not only to win your pageant, but like I said, who are coming expecting a shift. Maybe you've been in a season of transition, or maybe you're not, but you just like want that supernova effect. Like, again, imagine that room as if 50 Miss USAs were lining up in a panel and could answer all of your questions, okay? Imagine if you could talk to 3 Miss Americas and ask them your questions, right? So this is the power of the mastermind. You literally take a bunch of masters at their craft and you get to see what is on the inside of their mind, and then what they know literally translates upon you. And that's where you get your breakthrough, right? And again, what I get so excited about, you guys, is it's like, maybe I will say something so profound that you're like, this is the one-liner, I wrote it down in my journal, just like the podcast every week. Or maybe you're like, I just want to meet Megan. Like, I've listened to so many episodes and I've never gone to Mastermind. I've heard about it for years. This is very, very different this year. GA, the regular ticket, is just Saturday. We're still going to blow your mind. Don't worry. I have extremely high expectations. There's going to be so many fun things. But if you are able to make the investment for VIP, I highly, highly encourage it. It's going to, like I said, we're capping it at 30, and the regular admission tickets, we will only have 100 total tickets in the room. So 70 GA and 30 VIP tickets. This is a chance to network. I believe that your next best friend is in this room. I've already connected 2 people that are going from Virginia and West Virginia that just like didn't know each other, and they're literally neighbors right now. They're driving to each other's pageants, and they're accountability partners every day, and they're encouraging each other in what they're learning from Powerhouse because they've taken our courses and they're one-on-one clients with me, right? So I believe that your answer is in this room. And I don't even believe it has to be me, but I'm the one facilitating this transformation for you, right? Maybe it's somebody that connects you to your future spouse. I've had that happen before, right? Like, maybe it's a side conversation that you have in the hallway. Maybe it's the worship that we do at the end that just like wrecks you and you feel the Holy Spirit for the first time, or whatever, right? Like, we've had literally dozens and dozens of women get saved at our event, which there's no pressure for that, by the way. Like, I'm just led by the Holy Spirit. Sometimes we do that, sometimes we don't. But this isn't just about like surface level learning pageant tips, okay? If that's what you're looking for, like, you're probably going to hate our tribe, okay? Because we like to go deep. We're real people. Like, I will have a hair and makeup artist do my hair and makeup this year. Last time I was like 5 months postpartum. It was hilarious. 6 months, something like that. And I was still looking like a thumb a little bit. So if you see me, in a t-shirt last year, it was a cute sparkly gold t-shirt. Okay, but we're up leveling this year because we are thriving in motherhood now. So seats have already been claimed. We already have about 5 or 10 tickets sold pre-sale for our wait list already. And for people that are in my upper ticket one-on-one, we release those tickets early. So I think there is, even at the time of this podcast coming out for tomorrow, because I'm recording this day before, I think there's 27 VIPs left, maybe 25. So move on it quickly. And if this isn't good enough and you're not already like jacked, which again, you guys can go to the link below in the show notes and stuff and just click right now. If you're like already know you want to buy, you don't have to watch the video after this, but my team's just going to attach it so that for visual learners, you can like totally immerse yourself again in the emotions. But I have even better news. So for 48 hours only for this pre-sale launch, okay, then we're going to close tickets and then we won't open them again until January, okay? So for this pre-sale only, you guys can also use the coupon 200 off. So the number's 200 off for $200 off any ticket, GA or VIP. Okay. So my team not hurried, but my team got this together before Christmas for you guys because I wanted you guys to get a chance to ask for this for Hanukkah, for Christmas, for Kwanzaa, for whatever. Okay. I wanted you guys to get a chance to be like, Mom, Dad, Grandma, Grandpa, and ask for this, okay? I want you to make space for yourself. I want you to, again, future pace the outcome that you want and figure out a way to get your butt there, okay? Because a room where you are challenged and championed and cheered for is a room that will change your life forever. And here's the thing, even if you don't win your pageant, because I cannot guarantee that, okay? I can guarantee I'm going to give you the best tools in the world. We're going to fix your walking, your talking, your mindset. We're going to give you friends. We're going to have you do icebreakers that are not awkward, that make you immediately feel connected if you have social anxiety like I do. But this is a weekend for not only sharpening of the tactics, but this is a weekend of transformation. This really is. Like, I want you to have a place in your journal where you're like, this is where I changed. This is where like I recharged my battery pack that I didn't even know was on low power battery mode. Okay. My heart, like I wish I could translate in so many words my heart for this event, you guys, and how much I deeply, deeply care about your life. And so if the Lord is speaking to you right now, I encourage you to go to the website, or if you're watching this on Instagram later, you can comment the word below event or comment below the word mastermind. Do this for yourself. Make it happen. Again, grab that outcome in the future and say, how am I going to make it happen? I must, and I believe that this is possible for me. Okay, go make it happen. If you guys want to stay, you guys can watch the video from last year and then go to the link below, and you guys can go ahead and check out. Once spots are gone, they're gone. We'll update the website. This is good, again, for 48 hours only that you get that $200 off code, and I cannot promise that this will ever exist in the future. Who knows what we'll do in 2026, but we are already almost 90 days out, okay? So like, yes, March seems like a long time. It's March 27th and 28th. But it's not, because January 1st is going to hit you real quick, okay? And so 90 days is like, it's 90 days on January 1st, okay? So Merry Christmas to you and Happy New Year. This is our gift to you, $200 off. And I can't wait to meet so many of you guys, okay? You guys, we had like 300 people buy our courses in the last 2 weeks, you guys, like literally 300. And so, like, imagine if just 10% of you guys come. Imagine if 33% of you guys come, all the tickets are already done. Like, I would pee myself. I would literally lose it. I would literally lose it if you guys, I would just lose it. I would probably figure out a way. I don't know. I'd have to call the hotel and be like, sorry, we're taking over the whole hotel. Like, Pageant Land is coming to Omaha. It's going to be beautiful. The end of March, early April. My birthday's the next week, so we're going to celebrate early birthday for me. Guys, it's going to be a whole vibe. It's going to be the best time of your life, okay? It'll be like literally, even if it had nothing to do with pageants, this is going to feel like soothing for your soul, okay? Like literally your soul. Like imagine your phone on 1% battery finally going to 100%, and then you're like, you can breathe again. You know what I mean? That's what I want this event to feel like. It's going to be so amazing. And I want you to all just like to meet your best friends. And I want to hug you, and it's just going to be like so great. So here's the video. Click below. Do all the things. Please come. It would just make me so happy. Okay. Bye, guys. I'm Coach Megan, and welcome to Mastermind. Powerhouse Mastermind is a 2-day immersive experience here in Omaha, Nebraska, where each of our contestants get to undergo an entire mock pageant, including 2 mock interviews and every single phase of competition. After that, we give them back their scores with detailed feedback, which, as you know, you do not get in most pageants. And then the entire second day with each of our contestants to go over their scores and improve in each area. At the very end of the Powerhouse Mastermind, we crown first runner-up, second runner-up, as well as Miss Mastermind with a real crown and sash, and as well as several preliminaries and other fun awards. If you want to win your pageant or at a very minimum place higher this next year, then make sure that you are at the next Powerhouse Mastermind. What are you? I want you to walk away from this weekend like, what are you? What is your thing? What do you want the judges to know you for? Part of the way that Powerhouse Pageantry even became a thing was because everywhere I would go, they'd say, oh, that girl's a powerhouse. Oh, that girl's a powerhouse. Oh, that girl's a powerhouse. And for the first 2 years of our company, we actually didn't have a name. I was just like coaching people on Zoom randomly. And then eventually I was like, oh, Powerhouse Pageantry. Like, I like the alliteration, I like this, whatever. And now there's no greater word that you could call me. Like, it just lights me up on the inside, okay? So one thing I want you to even write down for yourselves this week is like, what is that word for me that if the judges could talk behind my back in a good way, what would it be? And how would that make me feel? And you need to get used to saying this to yourself every single day.
I'm Kira.
And I'm Gabriella.
And this is Powerhouse Pageantry.
So today we got to speak with Madison Marsh, Miss America 2024 over Zoom call, and it was so amazing to hear about her reign and learn everything, and she taught us so many valuable lessons.
My favorite thing from this week was being able to do mock interviews and multiple of them with amazing panels of judges.
Working with Megan in Powerhouse Pageantry is definitely just overall empowering. You are with a bunch of beautiful and amazing young women who are just striving for the same goal as you.
Overall, this weekend, in one word to me, has been enlightening. I've been able to learn so many different things from so many different incredible women from across the nation, across different systems.
If you're on the edge of continuing with Powerhouse or not, I definitely think you should, because truly they change your mindset and change you as a person overall. I was a completely different person just a year ago, and working with Powerhouse has changed me completely.
Hi, I'm Elena, and this is Powerhouse Pageantry. I do have a lot of friends in the community that do have other coaches. Obviously, people try to stay local, but I decided that staying local was working, but also I knew that there was better things out there, and so I loved to reach out to Megan and just figure out what Powerhouse Pageantry was and where I fit into that narrative. I love that she is a great role model, not only in the pageant world, but she also is someone who is a woman of faith. And that's something that I truly admire. I am from Alabama. We're known as the Bible Belt. And so that is in my roots. I attended Christian University. And so I'm very proud that she also includes that in her business. I love that there's so many different types of girls here. I love that we can all be our own person and be represented in this Powerhouse Pageantry organization without having fear of having to fit the narrative, which can also be something negative perceived about pageantry, but Megan really encourages us to be who we are and stand in that. If I could describe this experience and just working with Megan in one word, it would be inspirational.
This community is so different from anything else out there, and it's so much more than a pageant, so much more than a crown. And when you have down days, when you have those days where it's hard, the comparison days, whoever was talking about that, social media, these are the women that will have your back and will be able to pick you up. So I just encourage you again, lean on each other, lean on your other friends in the Powerhouse Club, in the chats, because it's really fun to be able to share these wins and even the low times with each other. I'm just excited for all of you to see how you do this year, but even if you don't walk away with that crown, you walked away with a life-changing experience, and I'm a better woman. I'm a great Miss Nebraska because of this, but I'm a better woman because of what I learned through Powerhouse, and that's the ultimate takeaway at the end of the day.
I mean, I have to say, this is pretty cool. This is very legit, but I have to say it's really more about the learning experience. It's about the bonds that we've made here, and this is material, but the memories that I've made here are gonna be there forever. I was actually really good friends with the girl that was Miss Mastermind last year. Her name's AJ, and I got to follow her on social media and see her journey through her system and through her pageant, and it was so awesome, the friendship that we have and still have through this organization. And so for the next person who's Miss Powerhouse Mastermind next year, it's about the experience. It's about taking away the critique that you've received here this weekend and applying it to yourself and applying it to your professional life, your pageant life, and just really being able to take it all in and being able to make a difference from it. This is an event that took months to plan, dare I say, even years in the making, because this is not something that can be done in a day. This is not something that can be done in a weekend. This whole weekend was meant for us with our best intention in mind, and I just cannot thank all of the staff here at Powerhouse that's been able to make this happen for us and is able to have a great experience for us, because they're all for us and they're all here for our betterment. And I'm just really thankful that we have such a great mentorship team here with us that I just can't be more thankful for it.